Ahoy, ahoy, welcome to a brand new edition of the Ramble on Reactions. Sitting next to me is handsome Dan Nye.
And sitting over there is clever Eric Muller.
We're on stools, so it's like we're doing both.
You know who else is on stools?
Who?
Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Ah, that's right, because we put up there so high.
Oh, I wasn't thinking pedestals. I was just thinking stools when they were at the bar.
That's true.
In the movie Passengers. Because it was, that was actually a huge set piece. It was, Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen's
so charming.
So, breakdown Passengers, not even nuts and bolts, plot.
Okay, so if you see the trailers, get prepared to see a completely different movie.
It's true.
This one, the ship just doesn't randomly wake up, people. Pretty much, after the ship takes some damage, Chris Pratt wakes up and discovers he's the only person left awake on this ship. That's going to take 90 years to get to a new planet. And then wackiness and loneliness ensues, and then Jennifer Lawrence enters the picture.
There are a few things we have to talk about, and we were asked to address in this specific review, because apparently they're shortly, I would say, I don't want to get too much into it, spoiler territory, because it does happen quite a bit, like 30 minutes, maybe a little longer into the movie, where Chris Pratt's character has to make a choice, and it becomes a very morally vague and gray area, and can be talked about and debated a lot. I think we were in agreement, another friend of ours, Nate, was in agreement. He makes the right choice as far as it goes, because it's pretty much his life or this choice, and and that's how the film presents it. However, the way it's presented in the film, I will say, because of that choice, it took me out of the next half hour of the movie. The way they handled it, I was just like, you kind of wait for the other shoe to drop just with like what happens with this choice. And it's like, it actually kind of annoyed me, because it's like, I can't enjoy this portion of the movie because this is happening. I expected this movie, like you said from the trailers, I expected like some 2001 A Space Odyssey, some Shining.
A little sci-fi horror.
Yeah, and it was not that at all.
They got a rom-com stuck in the middle of the sci-fi thriller. Yeah,
and then at the very end, they kind of try to bring the sci-fi thriller back. And at that point, you're kind of like, okay. Like, this movie, I felt like, what are some other things you liked about it? Because I have a panel.
It looks great. I will say, it looks fantastic. And there's certain sequences in there that look fantastic, especially the one that you see in the trailers with Jennifer Lawrence, where she's going through the different pool thing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was really cool. There's a lot of neat things in there, and like I said, Michael Sheen is fantastic. It was his role as the android bartender, and then Lawrence Fishburne shows up.
It's a cast of 4 people total. That's it.
And Andy Garcia, if you saw the trailer, you see his part. No joke, he's literally on screen for 5 seconds. Easiest paycheck ever.
This movie would have been easily in the top 10, maybe top 5 summer blockbusters this year. This was a summer blockbuster that happened to come out at Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, it was marketed strangely. It just, I don't want to say it misfired, but it's like they didn't quite know what they had. Like, it wasn't a bad movie. It was just, you go in with different expectations and you're like, wait, what? Because they do a fairly good job of, Chris Pratt going loneliness, and you get that whole Castaway the Martian vibe with it. And they do a very good job, but it's kind of quick. And then once you get out of it, like, nothing, like, they don't address it as much. It doesn't really come back up again, and you're kind of like, oh, well, I guess we're now moving on. So there are more questions and more plot holes in this movie the more you think about it, and I've seen people online say, why, it's a great movie, and I'm like, I wouldn't say it's great. I'd say it's good. I wouldn't say you have to go see this movie in theaters. That was my thought. What do you think about that? That it would have been better off in the summer slot?
I think it would have been better if they stuck with the movie that they were pitching in the trailer. Because then it would have been more, like you said, 2001 Space Odyssey, as opposed to this movie that doesn't mesh well, the two genres. And then it would have worked any time, summer, fall, winter, blah, blah, blah. It just missed the boat because, like I said, the trailers tell you one thing, the movie you get is another thing. It's like Collateral Beauty.
Not in a good way.
Yeah.
And how you're saying with that is, you're saying they don't mesh well, being that if you have a good balance, because you could tell what they were going for, how they wanted the dynamics of that relationship to work, and it's taking nothing away from J-Law and Chris Pratt. Like they're very good in what they're doing.
Yeah.
But the tone of the movie suffers because they don't know whether or not to keep it in the sci-fi, how much they want to like throw realism in here, how much they want it to be like these two and their chemistry. So it's like the pace is weird. It's a strangely paced movie because with the
especially
different
the
tones,
ending. Gee.
yeah, and
It literally comes out and like, here's your ending. Credits.
so yeah, it's not bad, but it's not great. And it was odd because this is one of the things I was really looking forward to when we first heard about this about a year ago, when we first heard what was going to happen. And then you really only got one trailer and not a whole lot of good looks. So, Eric, rate this movie for me.
I give it a B-.
I'm about the same. I'm going to give it a B. I enjoyed it, but it's like you don't need to rush out and see it. Passengers, you're not going to miss anything.
Just wait for it on Netflix and you can go ahead and chill.
Yeah. So, as always, thank you very much for listening to us ramble on a little bit about this movie. Like, comment, subscribe, share, talk to us. Do you think we're wrong? Do you think Passengers was a great movie and Chris Pratt should get a first-time Oscar nomination, or Jennifer Lawrence another Oscar nomination? Michael Sheen supporting. That's probably the most serious thing I've said in the last 30 seconds. So, clearly Eric doesn't agree with me.
No.
But, so yeah. Clever Eric Muller sitting right over there.
Handsome Dan Nye over there.
As always, ahoy, ahoy. Ramble.